Hey, what's good with y'all, man? What's good? This is Black Authentic Truth. Thank you for rocking in. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for rocking with me. Got a lot of hot topics I'm gonna go into, of course, all the time, every time, all day, every day until the sun burn out. Is gonna be controversial topics, enlightening topics, historical topics. And I was just saying the other day, I was like, man, I don't know. I don't actually know when it comes to the platform and everything. I haven't I be all over the place and I haven't decided like what do I really want to do. As y'all can see, I post all type of stuff. I talk about, different topics as far as current events. I started off doing history, a lot of history, and I was saying it to my rib, I was saying I don't know what lane I should do. And she said, "You do them all. This is who you are." And I said, "You damn right. You damn right." Shout out to everybody that's in here rocking with me. Of course, I'm going to go into the hot topic right now when it comes to Nolan Xavier Wells. Also, uh, there was a story that came out about Jamie Foxx yesterday, and we'll get a little Nat Turner. I just want to show people some things about America, who we are as a people. With Nat Turner, I'm gonna go into that. And yeah. And of course, I left off, I think the last live I did, it was about Tatum. Officer shucking jiving Tatum. We sure did get him, boss. You see how I got those niggas, boss? Ooh, but don't worry about it, boss. I'm on the job. That's Officer Tatum. A black man that hates his people, stepping fetching. You know what I mean? And you'll find many black people like that. It's always been black people like that. Let me do a sound check real quick. Make sure everything is good. Let me see. Excuse me. And the AC. What's going on with the AC? It is a very humid day today. Yeah, it's a very humid day today. So I don't know. Maybe that could be the case with the AC, but yeah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it in, okay. Yeah, Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum, who that nigga on that nay? Who that nigga think he is? Who these niggas think they is accusing white folks? What you accusing white folk for? White folks ain't been nothing but good to us. White folks ain't been did nothing but good to us. Give us nice clothes and nice shoes. Boss gave me a cracker for Christmas. I ain't never had a saltine cracker. What you messing with these good white folks for? These good white folks in Mississippi. You niggas make me sick. You niggas hate each other. You're always doing crime. Like, there's always going to be black people like that. There always has been a Judas, a traitor amongst black people, an overseer. Today, a supervisor, a black person with a position over other black people, a black person with a good job, a black person that went to college and I got my 3 degrees. You see my plaques on the wall? Those are my degrees. You see, I'm not like those blacks in the hood. I'm a distinguished black man. I'm not ghetto. Okay, those are niggas. And I am a black man. I'm distinguished. There's always going to be black people like that all the time because believe it or not, we live in captivity. And when you're trying to impress your oppressor, that's what comes out of you. That's the thing that happens. You're trying so hard to assimilate and be like them that anything that they start to say and do, you start to say and do. And if they saying that black people are horrible and they do all the crime, you're going to start doing that too. You're going to start saying, you know what? The problem isn't, racism and systematic racism and things like that and oppression. The problem is these niggas. You see, as a black man, these niggas, man, they make me sick. They're embarrassing. You see, when they do that type of stuff, see, that's why white people don't like us. That's why white people hate us. See, see what they're doing right there? That's the same. And y'all wonder why white people don't like us. Y'all wonder why white people, nigga, white people would hate you even if you was in a goddamn 3-piece suit with a comb over, fried, dyed, and laid to the side. You don't get it. You do not get it. And like I would say, like I said that the last live, I said, man, Harriet Tubman would have blew Tatum's damn head off. Nat Turner would have put Officer Tatum to death. Now, when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that, I wish anything on any black person, regardless of how they think, what they believe in, whatever ideology they follow. I would never stand behind violence towards my people. But if you put that in perspective, during the times when our people were trying to get free, a nigga like that would be smoked. He would be fried, dyed, laid into the side, the wayside. Okay? You know what I mean? But yeah, man, that's just, and we don't need any more Negroes like that. We got enough shucking and jiving, stepping, fetching Negroes. We done had enough. We don't need none of them right now. That's not what we need. Okay? You don't have to tell black people about good and bad, about righteousness, about wickedness. We know too well about all of those things. We've been at the other end of wickedness since we've been in America. So you don't have to tell us about wickedness, about, give us a TED talk on the problems that we have. We truly understand the problems that we have. And black people have always spoke against the problems that we have. There's always been black activism as far as talking about black on black crime. Matter of fact, that's where it comes from. And like everything else, because they have no seasoning and they have no flavor, they take that thing and then they use it against us. They took that phrase, black on black crime, and they started using it as propaganda in the media. And today, that's all you hear white folks talk about. You never hear them talk about what they be doing to themselves. They got all those crime stories, them crime channels, and they filled with white folks. And I mean, literally just serial killers, their whole life, never get caught, can move to another state, create a whole new life, and die as an old person. Meanwhile, black men get out as an old person from being exonerated for crimes they didn't even commit. Number one, people being exonerated for things you didn't even do. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I have yet to see where a white male is freed, exonerated from prison after doing 20, 30, 40 years. I have yet to see that. I have yet to see that viral post where it's somebody being released from prison after they went through the information and found out they were railroaded into prison. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but every time I look around, it's a black man that is being freed for something he never did. And he sat in jail his whole damn life. They never talk about that. They never talk about what they be doing to themselves. Just brought the story out last week. 16-year-old, and I got a little more understanding of what happened. So that 13-year-old that was unalived by the 16 and 17-year-old, one of them being 6'2", 180 pounds, the 13-year-old black boy, 5'2", 135 pounds. You see the difference there. Well, the 13-year-old, he was missing, and then they found him, and they took him to a temporary foster home with this chairman, at this chairman's home, that he has this nice home that has a lake by it. So he's there just so that he can get, he can sit there for a minute and they can find somewhere for him to permanently go. He just got there. Gets into an altercation with the 16, 17-year-old. They stab him up. Then they hold him underwater until he drowned to death. Now you can talk about young black youth shooting, to shoot somebody, to be honest with you, to shoot somebody is it's a cowardly act, believe it or not. It's not really personal. You can hurt somebody from a distance, but to stab somebody is very personal. To grab somebody and hold them underwater until they die is very personal and very wicked, evil, and vile. Disgusting. But that story won't be plastered on the news. Trayvon Martin was plastered on the news for stabbing Austin Metcalf. Huh? White America, white media. Why are you not plastering this story all over the news? We know why. It's all good. So black people know too well about the evil that white people are capable of from the time of slavery up till now. And they think you stupid. They think we're stupid, like we don't know that these people are still capable of doing what they're doing. Like we live in a post-racial society. No, we live in reality. We live in the stories of our ancestors. We understand, okay? And we totally understand that we're not perfect either. We have problems in our community too. We totally understand that, okay? Anyway, I wanted to talk about, let me get this Jamie Foxx. Let me see. Okay. This Jamie Foxx story. I'm gonna just put the picture up. Okay. This to the stage. Now, this is from, I'm gonna be reading a little bit, read the article a little bit. This is from the Atlanta Black Star. It says he's right though. Jamie Foxx's bold statement about Jesus in a new post sparks fierce backlash. So it says that on July 22nd, the Oscar-winning actor posted a photo of himself leaning against an all-white Rolls-Royce SUV while wearing a T-shirt emblazoned with the words, "Jesus is a black man." So the post, it says that the post paired with Kanye West's 2004 hit, "Jesus Walks," and drew thousands of reactions across social media. Says that, let me see, it says that while many applauded Foxx for publicly expressing his Christian faith, others shifted the conversation elsewhere. Commenters fixated on the actor's romantic history, questioning how the shirt's message aligned with the woman he has been publicly linked to over the years. So people was like, "Oh, so you have been with a white woman, so now you're saying Jesus is black?" It says that one more. Let me get. I know it's something else in there. Okay, it says somebody said he's right though. No matter how much he bunny hops, the truth is the truth. Anyway, people kind of didn't like the fact that he wore that shirt, of course, and then they was speculating, talking about, you bunny hop, you do this, which is true. Jamie Foxx does do that, right? But anyway, the point is that whenever you say anybody that is important was black, like they say Mozart, Mozart was black. Different people in history that people thought that were white were black, including Christ. And when you say these things, people get infuriated. And it's like, why? Why are you infuriated over the fact of somebody saying that Jesus is black? Why? Because the whole time y'all have white Jesus plastered everywhere. Have y'all ever noticed you've never seen an Asian Jesus. You never seen, you know, who else? A Russian Jesus. Well, that's white Jesus, but you never seen East Indian Jesus. You never see other people, an Arab Jesus. You never see other people put Jesus in their image, but white people. So when you say no, Jesus is a black man, the first thing they say, well, yeah, okay, he wasn't black, but he wasn't he was okay. If he's not okay, yeah, you may think that, but he was more like Middle Eastern. But he wasn't black though. He was brown skinned, but he wasn't black though. And it made me think about there's a famous quote by Robert F. Kennedy, where Robert F. Kennedy basically said, what if when we die and then we go to heaven and we stand before God and God is not white, he's black? What will be our response? Which that was a smart thing to question, you know what I mean? Because I think they all kind of know this already. But of course, white supremacy makes you stupid. It makes you think that, there is no other way. Kind of like those MAGA people, they're so stupid. They'll follow Donald Trump, even though he's a PDF. They'll still follow him. They'll still praise him. You know why? Because they have something where they just want to be in charge and they just want to see themselves as a superior people. And so anything that makes them look inferior, they hate, and anything that makes them feel superior, they love. So they hate if you say, yeah, Jesus was black. They hate if you talk about the fact of all the evil that Donald Trump has brought, as far as, what they doing with immigration, what ICE is doing, unaliving people, America aligning with Israel. And you've seen some of them atrocities online. Oh my goodness. I've seen some of them videos and I'm like, you would have to be a person that has no soul to think that the things that they doing over there is okay. But it's all because America supports them and backs them, and they're using American weapons. But that doesn't matter to MAGA. None of that stuff matters as long as they're in charge. They're in charge. White supremacy is on top. America, yeah, 250th anniversary. We're the greatest. We're the greatest. Everybody else is beneath us. They'll never say that, but you already know the truth. Anyway, like, you can't be like with this situation with Jamie Foxx, you can't be like, if you gonna stand on something, you got to stand on it all the way through. So if I tell you the patriarchs were all black, and which I can prove that, you will never find something like, you can't nitpick my life and say, oh, well, listen here, you used to like white women. Look here, you used to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. You got to stand on it. You want to stand on your blackness, but I ain't mad at it, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to stop nobody. Like, two things can be true at the same time, and then truth can come from somebody you don't think it should come from either, because the truth is always the truth, no matter who says it. So even if you don't like Jamie Foxx's lifestyle, his message is true. You know what I mean? But anyway, what else I wanted to go into? Yes, I want to talk about Nolan and the family, all the hate they get in. And should I do that last? Maybe I should. No, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about that. Okay. So everybody knows the case with Nolan Xavier Wells and his family. Um, his mother, she has been, for the most part, she's been talking the most, communicating. I think she has a page where she communicates. And I know on one of the pages, she recently came out and basically said that people have been calling her, trying to question her and then ask her why she chose Crump and the attorneys that she chose, and trying to redirect her, Also, another post came out showing that white people are basically going to Google and giving her bad reviews. She's a healthcare provider. They're going to Google and giving her bad reviews. Like, how evil is that? How effing evil is that? This is a mother and father that they simply just said they just want the truth of what happened to their son. That's it. And that's evil, y'all. You're going to Google to post negative reviews. And as a healthcare provider, she hasn't been to work in a while. So that's even more terrible. They're going to Nolan Wells' mother's page, her place of work, and posting negative reviews. They're questioning the GoFundMe money. I thought GoFundMe is for people that need the money. From my understanding, the Wells family, they do good for themselves. But when you need the type of representation that they need to find out the answers, they need that money. But who cares? If you're not donating no money, who gives a damn? Why do you care? They're all angry at the GoFundMe. What are they gonna do? Why they get the money for the GoFundMe? What did this, that? Who gives a damn? Y'all need to mind y'all business. But I know you can't. You can't mind your business. You're obsessed with Black folks. And they're just too worried about everything else. And I said it last week. Y'all know the point I made is the reason why you're seeing all of this hate come towards the Wells family, which it shouldn't be coming towards them, is because white people are saying, and I believe, was it the governor? The governor out there is saying that they're making it about race. They never made it about race. Nolan Wells' parents never said anything about race. His mother said that the minute that the sheriff right away said that it was no signs of foul play, that made her want to question everything because it was too quick. It just didn't make any sense. Hadn't even did the autopsy yet, and the sheriff is saying it's a closed case. The father said that there was a lot of weird stuff going on when he was trying to get answers. The mother had to go, track down the phone and all of that. They never even said anything about race. But see, these the same people that say that Black people always talk about race. The reason why they're worried, why they're so hateful, and it's about race, is because now white people and their image is put in a position where they look like how they've always been. That's why they're so angry with this Nolan Wells case. They have to look like the criminals they always been. The cover-ups. Can you imagine how many cover-ups there's been? I'm not just talking about Mississippi. I'm talking about America. When you got all of these judges with kids that commit crimes, let's just take murder out of it. Let's just say just committing crimes. Your father is an FBI agent. Your mother is and I'm not saying this is all white people, but can you imagine? I'm sure there's a culture, there's a long culture within the white community going back to slavery times of cover-ups. Just go look at all of the cases with Black people being lynched and white people get accused and get indicted, but then they're let go. They're free. Think of the long history of cover-ups that they have because they're in control. Judicial system, the police system, law enforcement. And so if you're in a town and all these people grew up together and they do something happens to you and it becomes a big story to where the eyes of the nation is on it, because if those devils would have had their stories right, if they would have had their stories right and they wasn't contradicting each other, we never would have heard about Nolan Wells. Nolan Wells would probably be somewhere buried in the sand on Horns Island. He'd probably be somewhere, his body never found. But the little devils couldn't get their story right. If they would have had their story right, we never would have heard about Nolan Wells. because it would have been like, okay, everything lines up, case closed. It's so much stuff. It's so much BS in this case. And I don't really want to go into everything. But another thing is this: you have them do an independent autopsy. And in the independent autopsy, they don't send Nolan's body with the inside of his neck, his lungs, or his stomach. And all of that is made known to the public, very transparent and open. I think the following day, the lead attorney on it said, we're being tight-lipped on this until we go to a grand jury. That don't even look right. But the pressure that independent autopsy put on them, now they're really scrambling, in my opinion. But imagine the cover-ups. Imagine all of the cover-ups where these are crimes that have been committed, but because they are related to somebody who's a judge, related to somebody, or know somebody that can make a call to somebody, you never, ever hear about it. It just goes unsolved. It's just a mystery. And so white people are upset about this situation, but they're upset at the wrong individuals. They're upset at Nolan's family, his mother and father, and the attorney talking about they making it about race. No, black people are making it about race. Black people are the one that seen that picture and felt some type of way about it. It's all of Black America that's making it about race. How about that? Black people are the ones who are skeptical with good reason. Black people are skeptical with good effing reason. That's who's skeptical. That's who you need to be mad at. Be mad at me, because when I seen that picture, I said to myself, something, it don't look right. I don't know anything, any details or nothing. I just said it don't look right. You know, it don't sound right. The story didn't sound right off the bat. I'm like, how are you with your friends, but nobody know what happened to you? Like you went somewhere with your friends. Like, I tried to put myself in a time when we was growing up, when I was with my homies. I'm like, yeah, there was times when we split up and stuff like that, but we always, met up somewhere. It was always a plan. We never just going, hey, bro, we somewhere, we don't know anybody. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna stay back. Hey, bro, I'm gonna stay back with this girl. Nah, man, come on, man. Man, miss her, man. She can miss, like, if you want to really, she can come with us. She can roll with us, but we're not finna leave you. And we're on an island 10 miles away from the mainland. And there's no plan. We don't even know if you talk to somebody, or somebody confirmed to us, yeah, I'll give them a ride back. That's how that really supposed to have went. So that was sketchy off top. But it's just, but if you want to be mad at somebody, maggots, if you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at Black people making it about race. We got good reason. We got a damn good reason. And had things been reversed, it's been reversed. If it was the other way around, with a group of Black friends and a white Nolan would have made it back home on the 4th of July. I'm just gonna keep it way real with you. A white Nolan amongst a whole bunch of Black friends would have been safe. But y'all have a history of doing that. You got a history of it. So it's kind of like, you can't get mad at Black folks for being skeptical and looking at the situation how they looking at it. Like, some of these things should be adding up. 2 + 2, it should be adding up in their heads, but it's not about them looking at the stuff that doesn't make sense. It's about them preserving the image of whiteness being so good and law-abiding, while Black people are prone to criminality. So now they're looking like criminals, and The whole situation just happened with all of those cases with black boys, and they were going in. Now you have this lily white looking community with promising these boys with promising careers, most likely, especially the one whose mother is a judge. You know, he probably is going to be a judge. But they like, we can't let these boys' life get thrown away. We have to scramble and cover this up. We got to do something. Y'all don't believe y'all live in that world? You better wake up. And one of the saddest things that this is really sad. It's sad that black people have not woken up. It's sad that I've seen so many black people saying also that, and I don't want y'all, don't take this the wrong way, because my condolences go out to Nolan's family. I don't know what that is. I try to put myself in that position though, because I do have 2 sons that are teenagers. So I try to put myself in that position, you know. It's it's the right thing to do. Is just to understand, what it would feel like, That's why you shouldn't have too much to say against them if you've never lost a child. You don't know how. I've heard people saying, why is she not crying in the interview? As though you're supposed to be crying and can't keep your composure just to have an interview. You can't tell people how they're supposed to grieve. Everybody grieves differently. I've seen people not cry at all. I've seen people, lose it. So depending on the person, when there's a death, people grieve differently, right? But what I wanted to say is, when it comes to Nolan and his family, his mother said that they didn't teach Nolan like about color. They taught him to love everybody. And in this situation, that could have been, if he was taught history, if he was taught a perspective of, okay, this is what your people been through with these people. This is who they are. I know life is good. We live in a nice place. And I believe the place where the high school Nolan went to is it was 70% white, 12% black. But just to have a kind of a compass of the relationship between black and white people throughout history. So you can always have a perspective and you can have kind of a feel for if something ain't right. You have like a sixth sense knowing your history. In my opinion, if you gear your sons, your teens up, your girls up to have an understanding of the history, it's a little more of a layer of protection for what they will and won't do. I've seen somebody actually, and it was kind of disgusting. I seen a black woman actually saying she don't care about Nolan because he shouldn't have been with white people. I would never say nothing like that. I just feel like we need to educate. And as for me and mine, I educate. Well, I don't educate like currently. It's already been done. That shit has already been done. You need to know, because I was exposed at a young age about the reality of race in America. I watched the death of Emmett Till, and I was in the 5th, 6th grade. And the whole court proceeding and them smiling and laughing and cheering, and the white men kissing their wives and after they was acquitted. So I got a crash course at a young age of the real world, of the real history of my people. And that's what all black children need. You need a real crash course. And so that is a detriment. Teaching our people to just blindly love every race is a detriment, because every race don't blindly love us. And it's okay. I'm not asking for love for everybody else. I would prefer that my people would love me and not hate me, or I would walk into a building and nigga don't mean mug me when I'm just saying, hey, how you doing, brother? I would prefer that. It ain't what I get all the time. Most of the time I do. But I would prefer that black people have a mindset that we can love one another. And I guess more things like this is going to have to happen for us to wake up. I guess we got another 10, 20 years for this shit to keep happening for us to wake up. I don't know. What y'all think? I guess we got more time. I guess things ain't bad enough. They ain't bad enough. But another component to that loving everybody, you know where that comes from, right? That comes from that Christian mindset. That damn Christian mindset. You're supposed to just love everybody. That Christian mindset, you don't see race and you teach your kids to love everybody. I get it. And when I say you don't have to love everybody, all I'm saying is, I'm not saying you're not nice, you're not respectful, you're not courteous. I'm saying that you actually see what these people have been capable of and what they're still capable of. And you're not blind to the reality that you still are a Black person around other white people. You know, I deal with people at work, and I was looking at I seen a clip of the interview from Ryan Clark. He got fired from ESPN, and he was talking about how he thought because he was the best, he could never get fired. And he also thought that, like, because you have this thing when you do stuff and you're doing everything right at work, that you're like almost untouchable because you're doing everything right. And then there's times as a Black person where you might feel disrespected by a supervisor or somebody else at work, and you want to respond how you want to respond, but then you check yourself and you say, well, if I do that, then I'm gonna be looked at a certain kind of way, the angry Black man or whatever. And you got a code switch damn near. This is reality. You got to, whether it's, whether you work in a warehouse, whether you work in corporate America, middle, don't matter. Black people code switch in the workplace. And so there was a situation. There's a situation where a supervisor or somebody over me said something what they said wasn't wrong, but how they said it was very disrespectful to me. And it was clear that I said something back and other people noticed it. Like I got infuriated. Other people noticed it. And it's like the room froze because they had never seen me in that spirit. It's like I noticed it and I said, you know what? Let me just turn it off. But I'm saying I'm a Black man with cornrows. I'm just saying. In a beard. Like, me getting angry, it scared people that I work with, that I was working with at the time. And I did a mental check, like, you know what? Let me just let that shit go. But because I now I can kind of feel how I see people looking at me like, damn, like, are you okay? Like walking on eggshells because they never ever had seen me. You only see me in a professional spirit. You know what I'm saying? To see me in real Black man mode, it changed the atmosphere. And I realized real quick that people will immediately say, oh yeah, he scared me. And I don't feel like I did too much, but that's how it be. You got a code switch. You got to walk a certain way, talk a certain kind of way around these people. So going back to what I was saying, you have to be understanding of the fact that you're a Black person in all type of spaces, when you're out in society, in school, work, play, all of that. You know what I mean? You got to have that in your head and understand that how people react to you, how they're gonna look at you, and to a certain extent, you gotta not give a damn, right? Because it's always going to be there. But you need to teach your children that. But I see so many black people that's like, I love everybody. Well, it's not about race. Like, America has been about race since the inception. Go look at your ID card. What does it say? Does it say human? Does it say, human being? Homo sapien? No, it says your race. Any important document you got to fill out in America, you got to put down your race. This whole place is built off of race and racism. Everything in America when it comes to the media is talking about some race against another race. Ukrainians, Israelis, people from Venezuela, black people, white. Oh. They don't never mention white people. Not for crime, at least. Nah, they don't say that. Damn near. I just found out. I didn't even know that. I said it's you can't say white on TikTok. Is that why people started saying YT? YT sounds like something a woman would say. It sounds kind of like gay to me, so it just sounds weak. But that's what I've heard. I'm like, it's almost illegal. It's about to be illegal. Like you can say, it's not illegal to say nigga. It's not illegal to say, what is the other one? Black but when you say white, and I don't know if it's any context to it. Maybe you're talking about a white wall. Maybe you're talking about white drywall or something like that. But I've heard on like TikTok, you say white, you can get flagged for saying white. That's why I said that. Like, you can't, they on the media, they're not going to say, oh, look at the white on white crime is on the rise. They're not going to say that. Even though it is, but they're not going to say it. They want us to believe we're the problem. And so with this Nolan Wells case, it's like they are enraged that now the finger is being pointed at them. And even though there are some things that just don't make sense, like his friends leaving him, his friends, like an hour and a half span that can't be accounted for, his friends having his phone, not immediately giving it to his mother having to go track down the phone. Even though there's things that just don't make sense in the case, they still are they're saying, oh, he drowned. Maybe he drowned. No one actually knows what happened because nothing official has come out, but we know that there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. And they're still saying, oh, maybe he drowned, and the black people want to make it about race so bad. No, you afraid that it's your race that is going to be looked at so bad. That's what that is. Because everything in America is about race. We don't want to make it about race. It's that you are afraid that people are going to look at your race in a negative light, just how your forefathers were. Because you are your forefathers. All right. I'll just drop that. Okay. So now I want to get to this Nat Turner thing. Okay. I want to talk about Nat Turner a little bit. We'll wrap it up. Okay. Let me see. Nat Turner. What else I wanted to talk about? Nat Turner. I also wanted to talk about Mississippi. Maybe I'll do that this Wednesday, just for time's sake. So with Mississippi, Mississippi has a long history of racism, like all of America. And there's so many cases, very old cases and recent cases, very questionable, very, very questionable, very, very questionable cases that a lot of the fingers have been pointed at their coroner, the medical examiner there, that ruled a lot of possible lynchings as self-unalivings. I thought about it, y'all. I had to think about, I can't say the S word, self-unalivings. So she's ruled them, she's always ruling people like Trey Reed that was found hanging in Delta State University. She always rules them self-unalivings, those lynchings. The Devil's Punch Bowl. You know about the Devil's Punch Bowl. The Devil's Punch Bowl was when the slaves got free after the Civil War, and it was an influx of them migrating. Many of them found themselves in Natchez, Mississippi, and the Union troops didn't know what to do with them, Union soldiers. And what they ended up doing was putting all of the people into this natural ravine called the Devil's Punch Bowl. And they would work them every day. And when they died, they would just let their bodies lay there, and the people had to work around it. It is a terrible, horrible story called the Devil's Punch Bowl. You can go look that up. Okay. There's a lot of terrible things that have happened in Mississippi. All right. And those people out there are really mad because they like, hey, y'all think y'all gonna come down here and try to make us run our government how we've been running it. You know, that's the type of attitude they be having in those southern places. Like where, you know, now that, because these type of stories that we hear, they usually don't get national attention. But when it's national attention and all eyes and reporters are from everywhere in these places, they get angry and upset because now they can't cover stuff up like they usually do. They can't, do the narrative, say what they want to say like they usually do. Usually they can just cover up a death. But when it's people coming from out of state and, all kind of eyes and they're being looked at through a microscope, they're upset that this case is even getting that energy. They wish it would just go away. As though anybody that's a criminal, you don't want eyes on you. You don't want extra people around seeing your process and how you cover things up. But anyway, that's Mississippi. And on Wednesday, I'll go through a lot of the things. Wednesday, check that out. I'm gonna go through a lot of the history of Mississippi. For time, I'm just gonna pass that story. But when it comes to Nat Turner, now everybody knows the story of Nat Turner. Nat Turner rose up. He revolted. He rose up with men, and they went and fought back. One of the greatest revolts that are recorded in history was with Nat Turner. Do you know what gave Nat Turner the inspiration? The Bible. And this is why I say this a lot. I'm not Christian. Christianity is a man-made religion. But when it comes to people that say, well, I can't, I wouldn't follow the Bible, blah, blah, blah. And I look at Black people now, and I look at the greatest revolutionaries that ever rose up from Black people. They all read the Bible. Their inspiration was the Bible. If you can find me an inspiration that is outside the Bible, I would love to see it. But Nat Turner read the Bible. And when Nat Turner read the Bible, Nat Turner seeing the hell that his people were in, the oppression his people were in, and he looked at his people as the Israelites, and he looked at the white man as the Egyptians. You can go read it for yourself. This was his inspiration to do what he did, because he said, I feel like God has given me a sign to fight back. Excuse me. So that was his inspiration. The interesting thing about this is there is a book called Black Image and the White Mind. I have the book. I forgot to bring the book. Black Image in the White Mind. Now, in this book, These are people who believe that they have in the South Egyptians who are enslaved. This is a book with a man by the name of Morton, who is a craniologist. So they have many skulls from the mummies of Egypt that they study, or just period. They study these mummies, right? And so, of course, they had access to the skulls of the slaves that died, right? And so while they're comparing the skulls, the whole time they're thinking that they have in the South Egyptians who are enslaved. When they compare the skulls, what they find is that the skulls of the servant class in Egypt, meaning the people who were the workers, the slaves in Egypt, are the same as the skulls of the slaves in America. You can go read this yourself. Through much understanding, they said, well, damn, Black people have been relegated to the same servile position in America as in Egypt. Now you go back to what I just talked about with Nat Turner, believing that we were the Israelites and saying the white man was the Egyptian. The white man isn't the Egyptians. Okay, we know the Egyptians were a Hamitic race; they were a Black race, but the Egyptian, I'm sorry, the white man he's an Edomite. That's his nation. He's from the nation of Esau. He's an Edomite. I mean, they're prophesied to be as evil as they are today in Mississippi, in the White House. They're prophesied to be this way. It's already known that they are, a warlike people, and they would always have a perpetual hatred for the seed of Jacob, who are us, Black and brown people. But when he said this, you have to think he was right, even though he didn't know that this information that I'm saying now. He didn't know that America is spiritually Egypt. He didn't know that. America is spiritually Egypt and spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah. You know why Sodom and Gomorrah, right? The alphabet community and the push. But spiritually, now you look at the dollar bill and you ask yourself, why do America have a pyramid on the dollar bill? Why does the Lincoln Monument, why does Lincoln sit like Ramses, like the Ramses Monument in Aswan? Why do they have a obelisk at the Washington Monument, which were all over Egypt? It's because the original founders of America were Freemasons, and they tried to build America like Egypt, and then bring the people over here to work the land, the same people who were in Egypt that built it up, the working class people, the Israelites. And so Nat Turner, although it wasn't 100% correct, he was spiritually correct on believing his people were the Israelites, and his oppressor was the Egyptians. Although they were not, they did build a civilization and country that copied ancient Egypt. All of the proof is in Washington, D.C. All of the proof is right on your dollar bill. If you ever wanted to know why it's a pyramid on your dollar bill, it's because this country wanted to do the same thing that become great like ancient Egypt. All right. So that's what I wanted to bring out about Nat Turner. Now, everything that I talked about, when I talk about what happened to the Nolan family, what's happening right now with the hate that they receive. When I talk about what happened in the history of Mississippi, when I talk about Jamie Foxx proclaiming that Jesus is Black and the backlash he gets, when I talk about Nat Turner and what he did and what he's seen his people going through, what Black people don't understand is that you are living in hell. It is hell to have a child buried, and then you have to fight white racists who are mad that you're just trying to find out what happened to your child. It is hell where you can't even say, okay, I've learned this. I've learned that Jesus Christ is a black man, and everybody is hating on you and mad at you for even saying it. That's hell. Hell is not a place. Hell is a condition. Hell is waking up, having to go to work every day, barely able to pay all of your bills and expenses and barely getting by when you should be able to get by. That's living in hell. I'm sure you heard that before, that expression. That is hell. So we live a condition and we live in a place where we don't even know we are in hell, and we're trying to figure it out and trying to live life through partying and getting, doing different drugs and all of that to get by, to make hell a little better, to make it a little better. You know what I'm saying? All of these things combined are why we're destroyed as a people, but we don't even know it. We can't see it. We can't even see it because we're like stuck in it, and we're just like, oh, this is life. This is my life. This is how life is supposed to be. That's hell, man. Look at the music that we producing. Look at how the music has changed, the messages in the music. I remember when R&B songs used to be about real love. Now it's about just having sex and taking somebody else's woman. That's hell. I remember when rap had messages in it. Now rap is about killing somebody else. That's hell. Even our music is showing we live in hell in our thinking. And it's entertainment. And we're entertained by it, which is the sad part. Everything that you can look at around us and the things we even do, you can see that we live a life that is hell and we don't even know it. A condition. So with that, I want to end with this. I don't know if anybody knew this. I didn't know this. I just learned it. Nolan Wells is a descendant of the activist Ida B. Wells. Did you know that? I was just like, wow. If you didn't know who Ida B. Wells was, she was an investigative journalist. She was a sociologist, educator, and she was an early leader of the civil rights movement. She was one of the founders of the NAACP. So, and one thing I'm going to end with this. This is his descendant, Ida B. Wells. Also, I found out that within Nolan Wells' family, they had a lot of people that fought for justice throughout the years. A lot of prominent people in his family tree. In that community of Mississippi, Jackson. This is his family. Now you can trace back Nolan Wells to Ida B. Wells, who we learn about when we, Black History Month and stuff like that. Growing up in school, Black History B's in elementary. You can trace his line back to Ida B. Wells. What does that tell you? You can trace your line back to your ancestors too. But even more, what it tells you is this. Our ancestors are our family. You understand that? They're not just ancestors. They're our extended family. That's who they are. And that's how you need to think as a Black person. The people that came before you are not just no damn ancestors, especially in America. They're just a few generations ago. They are your family. So anytime a white person tells you to forget about your past, why are you always bringing up, what happened in slavery? Why are you always bringing up what happened during those times? It's because it's my family. I love my family. I love my ancestors. Don't ever fix your mouth to ask me, why do I care? Maybe you don't care about your generations. Hell, do you know who's in your family tree? Many people don't know who are in their family tree. I do. But I'm saying this to say, if you can trace back Nolan Wells to Ida B. Wells, that tells you that the people that came before you are your family, and you have every right to talk about them, to talk about what they went through, the good things, the tragedies, the hate, and the rage, even if it's still happening today, no matter who the hell gets uncomfortable with it. Keep talking about it. Keep talking about it. Now, with that, thank y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate it. I got to do an interview in a minute. I'll be back Wednesday. We'll talk about Mississippi. Okay. Now, I got a message to the kids, to the young ones. Say no to drugs. Don't ever pick up a drug. All right. Sober minds think alike. With that, I'll talk to y'all later. I love y'all. Peace. This is Black Authentic Truth.
Deontay the Bronze Rumble Wilder. Make sure you tap into Black Authentic Truth for your latest news. It's great information, baby. Bomb Squad! Hey, man, let me tell you something, man. There's a lot of history. Every month they do Black History. They got Juneteenth. But there's nothing like Black Authentic Truth than what you get in ISUPK. You want to make sure you subscribe to Black Authentic Truth. The reason why is because we actually give you the truth that correlates with historical information, and it incorporates with the Bible as well. You want to know why they don't have an answer for our condition in slavery? Because they don't bring the Bible. Black Authentic Truth marries Black history with the Bible, gives you the correct information. Make sure you subscribe to Black Authentic Truth for the proper information. Shalom.
Street Nasheed right here in Los Angeles, making it do what it do, man. Y'all check out Black Authentic Truth. Get some real good games on YouTube. Black Authentic Truth, man. Check it out, man. Real good information.
Man, you know what's going on. It's your boy Geechee Gotti. I'm rocking with Black Authentic Truth. You want to learn something? Tune in, man. Get your knowledge up. Get your history up, man. Know about something, man. You know what time it is, man. Geechee Gotti, Black Authentic Truth, man. Like and subscribe.
Black man, I have an obligation to my race of people, not to no other race or no other nationality, just to black people.
And you have always hated us. We have loved you consistently for 400 years. We prayed to that black Jesus, and we saluted your flag, and we died in your militaries, and you beat us like dogs.
This is Black Authentic Truth.